Welcome here, and we're starting the journey, and we are super excited to be here with you. Today we will be actually building, and I want you to have, as usual, pen and paper handy, or your notebooks, whatever you have it. That's always you go around with that, guys. You do not move without it. We're gonna be doing things. Those calls, we will be hacking you, your businesses, your plans. One of the things which is the issue with achieving our plans and goals. There's actually few, and one of them is that we put something on the list and something new comes, and we have plenty of ideas, so we can continuously putting stuff in the buckets, and we refocusing and doing too many things at the same time. So we don't achieve those goals because we put more on our plates, we refocus, we bring new. And also, according into the research, one of the things we actually do not achieve our goals because we never start them. Okay. And the most difficult thing is to actually start them. We say, yeah, we will do it, we will do it, we will do it, and we never doing it. And I want you to learn how to do it, and we will be doing it. The other things, which actually why you're having the mentors and coaches, is because you have not only accountability partner, but you have a tasks to do. Someone who actually makes you to do things, to push you. When you are given a deadline, you actually much more successful when you don't, or when you set up your deadline yourself. So we're going to be doing things like this that actually push you and help you to achieve your goals. I have quite a few notes which I want to cover today with you, but also I want to see your plans. And this is what we will be building today. And this will be your task, to have a plan for the next 3 months. So I will give you hacks on how to set up your goals and how to make them successful. So there was a guy called E.V. Lee, and he was a businessman. Okay, you don't have to write this down, but I will tell you what you have to write down. So he was hired by the bank, one of the banks, and he said, okay, come into the bank and do your job. So he came up with something which is a 15 minutes rule, okay? And he said to the executive, he was kind of a consultant as well, okay? So he said to the hiring guy, who said, okay, give me a 15 minutes with every single of your executives, and they will be successful. And the guy asked him, okay, how much is gonna cost me? He's like, okay, for timing, nothing. And if you achieve the results, you're gonna give me as much as you want, okay? Pretty good deal for that guy in the bank. So he went and he was talking to every single guy, and I will give you the 6 tips which he was actually giving to those 15 executives. And surprise, surprise, you were doing some of them already. So if you want, you can write that down, guys. So he was telling them that every day you have to complete or write it down as 6 tasks you want to do. You know, I'm talking about the one thing. The one thing is on your top of the list. So what you do, you write one thing, and then you write the 6 tasks, okay? That's the first thing. It actually teaches you and does the prioritization of your job on daily activities. So you prioritize the task. That's the second thing, okay? And then you concentrate, guys, because you have to prioritize those tasks. You concentrate on the most important task at the first, and you do not move into the next task until you finish the first. That's a tricky one, huh? Because we keep actually switching and jumping between the different tasks. And if you do not complete the task on that particular day, you move the task into the next day 6 tasks, and then you repeat. So that's the 5 elements of that 15 minutes method. I give you a few, you can choose which one you want to use. I will repeat right now, okay? The first one is write every evening, so before you go to bed or you close your work, 6 tasks you want to do for the next day. Second thing, prioritize them from the most important into the least important. Concentrate on the first task and do not move into the next task if you don't finish the first one. If you haven't finished the task, put it on the list for the next day and then repeat. And actually, he told them, keep going for the 30 days in that system and you see the results. And the outcome is that actually this guy made millions, and the owner of the bank gave him $25,000, which was it was in 1980, and it was equivalent of 400,000 bucks. So that is how powerful the method was. You cannot go above 6. So if you haven't done the 2 tasks, you move into the next day, and then you add only 4. That's a habit of learning how to prioritize. So basically, when you're in the evening, you end up with a 2 task, which you haven't done it in the day. Yeah. And then basically you put another 4 tasks, and then you end up, you have 6 tasks, and then you prioritize. You always, the first step is to put the 6 tasks, and then the second step is prioritize them, and then you do them in the order. When you are entrepreneur, this is one of the huge and the biggest showstopper for us, because we do not have a deadlines. Maybe sometimes we have a clients, but when you're starting your business, you do not have that yet. You have to build it, you have to set up, you have to do it. So we will be doing here this together. So you will have deadlines, and I will want you to, this is what we will do today. You will set up a deadline, which is the 3 months. That's your deadline. And we will work backward. And we will work out the plan from the backward. Where you want to be in those 3 months. And then we will do, okay, what I want to do in 1 month, in the second month, in the third, and then on the weekly basis. So you will have a kind of a plan, what you can do. And I give you also now some habits and the things which help you with the motivation, how you can complete that easier. So basically now I told you the small picture of the big picture, okay? The big picture is your 3 months task, and what you will be doing, we will be doing the reverse. So we will do your goals for the 3 months, then we will do it for 1 month, then we will do it for 1 week, and we will be doing on a daily basis. But along the journey, those daily tasks are totally related into your big picture. So you now wrote your goals for the next 3 months, and the next step will be to write them for the next month. Then the next step will be your activities for the next week. Okay, and I want you to plan that. So what I want to do in 1 month, in the month number 1, number 2, number 3, in the weeks as well, and you have already the template. It's not only to the goal related, it's related to your life. You have things that coming in and coming out. You have the things because you have to go to fix the car because you cannot drive into whatever. So those things, they have to be on the list because they take your time away from you. And we have only 24 hours in our days, and this is not stretching. And whatever you have to dedicate time to, it has to be on the list because it's important. There's another guy, it's a Warren Buffett guy, and I will share with you 2 his tricks and tips on how to achieve the goals, which I found also quite interesting. So the story is pretty long, but he was talking to his pilot from his plane, and he actually asked him to do a 2 list. One list was he had to write 25 goals he wants to achieve. Then he asked him to highlight the 5 most important things. Okay, so now I want you to do these things as well, guys. Try them out. So you have a kind of a 2 lists. Okay, one is with your 25 goals you want to achieve, and let's focus on 3 months. Okay, don't go wow, let's do one thing at the time. Let's focus on the 3 months. Put your 25 things for the 3 months, and then highlight 5 things, and then create the new list and prioritize those 5 things. This will help you also to create your plan. Okay, so that will be the first thing, the prioritizing, building the blocks and putting a timeline on them. Okay, I want you guys, all of you, to have a timeline on what you're doing. I give you all those things because when we say, okay, write the plan, is like, where do I start? So I give you the things you can really think about how to start, and you write your plan. Okay, there is something which is called Eisenhower box. It's like prioritization based on urgent, important, important, not urgent, or not important, not urgent. So I will give you, there is a 4 matrix, and you can put your task in there. That's another tool. There is another one, which is something which is also coming from Warren Buffett. And actually he talks about it. 20 slots rule. So he believed that everyone has got some kind of a punchline and spots line in his life. And there are times which we have to dedicate to certain tasks and activities and moments. So basically, it sounds complex, but it's simple and it's not complicated. I know sometimes we make things complicated, but I tell you in my words what it's actually. It's concentrate on the one thing you want to achieve in those 3 months, okay? Because when you master one thing, and this is his slot, how he calls, so focus, concentration, so you work it out, whatever is that. Because we start to do things, then we stop because we're not good at it or we don't like it. And I can see that with our 6 years daughter, and we have a 6 years and 8 years, and the 6 years is always not as good as the 8 years, for example, in the gymnastic, and she does lose a motivation because she always compare her into the, which she already done it. So she's not trying even. And you have to pass the moment when you think, oh, I'm not as good as I could be, or I cannot do that. You know, the normal rule is 10,000 hours. If you practice something for 10,000 hours, you're gonna be good at it. There's no chance you're not gonna be good at it. Another tip which I want to give it to you, it's also about stack your goals. For example, being very specific. So for example, you want to say that next week I will do 2 sales calls, okay, a day. And actually they've done the research, when you put the number, you achieve, and the people achieve 2 to 3 times more results than those who they actually don't do it. And also it's not only about telling yourself, I want you to be public with that, okay? Because the magic also happened here when you actually talk to others about it. You actually committing to other people, not only to yourself. So they're gonna be asking you, and I will. So that's the magic of actually happening and doing this in the public and in declarations, okay? So I want you to write those kinds of sentences, and I will give you a few other tips. And there is another trick, how to link that into your goals, into your habits, okay? So for example, I tell you today I was not able to do it, but I'm gonna do it tomorrow. So what I'm gonna write in my journal is, after I wake up tomorrow, I'm gonna go and swim in the sea, okay? So what I'm doing here, I'm linking the new habit into the old habit, okay? So I want to swim for the next month. I want to swim in the sea every morning at 6 o'clock a.m. And to make it more successful, I want you to think about linking your new thing into something which is already established, before or after. So for example, if you have your meditation, most of you already do meditation. So after my meditation, I will do 25 push-ups if you want to exercise. Or after my bath, or after my evening shower, I will write my 6 things for the next day, okay? Something you do regularly and it's your habit, you add before or after something new you want to create, because it's already established and the new thing is linked into the old one automatically in your brain. And when you link your old with the activities in your brain with something new, the new thing, it's linked and become part of the old one. So each time you do the old one, you will be thinking about the new one. And when you think about the new one, you will be thinking about the old one, which those two are interrelated, and they will push and motivate each other into doing the activities. Okay, the last 2 things I want to give it to you. So I wanted to tell you something which it also helped to set up the goals. Yeah, I will show you my whiteboard, okay? So here we have a point A, which is kind of your burnout point. Here we have your laziness point, okay? B. Lazy. Sometimes we do feel lazy and sometimes that's okay. And we have the curve like that, okay? This is when you burn out and this is when you feel lazy. And actually the best performance you can get and the growth, it's happening here, okay? As usual, it's usually in the, so when we're setting up, for example, the goal, and we say we want to do 10 calls, 10 sales calls a day, okay? I always use sales example because you all will have to learn how to sell, and I want to put it already this into your minds and heads, okay? So for example, you say, I want to do 10 sales calls or 10 emails or 10 whatever, it's something. And you say today, okay? Here you want to say like, okay, 20, okay? After 20, I'm gonna be burned out. And I don't want you to go there, okay, guys? So how we do that? So it's actually a setting up the goals, which they look like that. You say, I will do not 10 calls, but I will do a minimum of 10 calls and maximum 20 calls, okay? So you actually setting up the bracket. And I don't want you to put minimum 2 and maximum 100, okay? You don't do a gap like that, guys. I want you to be realistic, okay? That it's because 100 it will be totally burnout and you're gonna die here. So don't get crazy with things. If you want to push, great, I support it and I'm with you, but I don't want you to be overwhelmed. So I want you to really think about the next 3 months. Where do you want to be in those next 3 months? What is your, you know, the brackets, and if you, when you will be building up as well, and this is what I want to put into habit, when you will be building up your daily task, daily schedule, daily activities, and the weekly ones, I want you to think also in those brackets of my minimum calls or my minimum thing, it's 5, and the maximum it's 7, okay? So I tell you, like, most of us, we will probably do around 6. And I have a last thing to give you. It's called a visual cues. And I tell you, what is that? It's my favorite thing, a paperclip. You know, it's a paperclip method. The trend is guy who lives in, who was living in Canada. And this guy, he was actually hired as well in bank. I don't know why I'm bringing all the banking stuff, maybe because I know a lot about it. But anyway, he was actually hired in a bank, and he was asked to, he was a sales guy. And he was asked to basically improve the bank, the sales of the bank. And you know what he came up with? It was a magic, and I want you to use it. So he actually got 2 jacks, okay, empty jacks. One full of paper clips. He actually got himself 120 of a small paper clips. So he put it in 120 paper clips. And he said, okay, I'm gonna do sales calls, okay? And each time he've done a 1 sales call, what he did, what do you think he did? As simple as that is, he literally moved the paper clip from one jack to the other jack. And by doing that thing, guys, it's a visual motivation. It's actually seeing the progress. And I want you to be very visual, and I tell you something else about that. So how this actually can be transferred in a few things. So you can do it with the paper clips, you can use whatever you want. It could be even a board with a post-it notes, you know, like, okay, something you've done. But it has to be physical, okay, guys? The very powerful thing is that those things, they have to be literally make physical movement. So don't do anything online, because when you actually take something out of it and put it somewhere here, or you stick it, it involves all your body and all the connections in your brain while you're just seeing, okay? So it's a kinesthesia, it's a cognitive, it's actually emotional, because you're doing something with it, and environment. So it's really important to do that. You don't have to do 120 paper clips, okay? You can do with the 5 calls, or you can say 5 minutes you spend on something. You can actually start with all your 6 tasks. For example, you have the 6 tasks and you have a jacks of 6 tasks, and you can just literally start to move the six tasks when it's done. But you can use any kind of this. And this is what we will be doing, and we will be doing on the weekly activities. And the reason why I want you to post it is because we want to reflect on what we have done. We want to see the progress. I want you to measure yourself on the scale 1 to 10, and then you see how well. And I want you to be really, you know, true with yourself, because you're measuring yourself, not me. Like, how do you see and how do you feel yourself?
here is the space to just get things out. Okay. The Facebook for me as well was the things to get out. And when you see what is received, how things are being received, you get yourself comfortable, because you're gonna suck at the beginning. Okay. You're not gonna be brilliant, perfect, whatever. You're gonna be not really wow. Okay. And that's okay, because you have to move from this into the next level and the next level. And only way to do that, it's literally by doing it. And sometimes it will take less, sometimes more time, but there's no any other way than actually guys doing their lives, posting, finding the photos, there's no other way. And if you do this on the Facebook, in this space, and other spaces, then you will be more comfortable, first of all, more confident, and you feel more competent, because you have the knowledge, you have a competence. But all comes in how you speak about it, how you present yourself. And the only way to learn that is by doing.
I know I gave you I gave you a lot, but it's more like, I don't want you to do everything. I want you to pick things which may work, and I want you to try them, and what works, what doesn't. But what I really want you to do from now on is, for the next time, so I can summarize. So you have, I gave you today, first we talk about focus on your goals and daily activities. And there was this method, that 15 minutes trick of Ivy Lee, when you had this 5 steps activities. The second thing was, I gave you a few tips about how to plan and how to build the goals. So there was the Buffett rule, or the Buffett goals, 2 lists. One list with the 25 goals for the next 3 months, and then you highlight the 5, and then you create the next list with those highlighted 5, and you prioritize them. The next point was stock your goals. So write the sentences that next week I will do something for that many times a day. So for example, I will exercise 5 times. For the next week, I will exercise 5 times a day, and link that into the habit. And then set upper band. Okay, you remember we were talking about the lower band and the upper band. So your minimum you want to do, have this 5 calls, and the maximum you want to have 10 calls. So I want you to also think about setting up your upper, not only the lower band that I will do minimum that, but also the upper one. So make sure you do not burn out while doing that. So you like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna die. But you give yourself as well a minimum and the maximum, and you will land probably in the higher part. And then the visual cues and visual stuff. Make yourself and build yourself a different kind of tools. I gave you the example of the jar with the paper clip, when you move physically the paper clip. And as I said, there could be different activities, and also then is linked that directly into different time boxes, time blocks. We have it in our schedules. This also will help you to build up and improve schedules. Okay, and I want you to break those next 3 months into like, if you think like, this is what I want to be, but I need to do this to get there. And when you start doing it, you will be like, like, I don't know what to do. But then you go into the points. Okay, and I want you to go through this exercise. It's a little bit difficult at first, because we have to start to think in this way. So for example, I always see the things in a huge big picture, so I know where I'm going to be before I actually got there. And I'm not always in the really planning, but I know what are the steps. So for example, I know that to get this program, I had to do this, and that. And I know from my own experience and from all the books I've read, and I'm giving to you, when you plan it and you put this stuff, you're going to achieve it in much shorter time than I did. So take the big picture, And then it's okay. If I want to have this in the month number 1, I want to do this, this, and this, because you cannot do everything. Do one thing at a time and move into the next one and move into the next one. So when you say, I want to have my marketing strategy done in 3 months, what I need to do in those 3 months to achieve that. So I go backwards. And in month number 1, I have to do the research and the text, and number 2. And then to have this, what each day I have to do. Because I want you to have this learnings, how to manage your own work, your own workload, how to make and execute on your stuff. And we will be doing that for the next 3 months. So with all this, I'm leaving you. Thank you guys. Bye.